What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I want to talk about this topic. I actually did a Facebook Live video breaking down the numbers and showing people of why it made more sense to rent versus owning a home. And the reason that I made that Facebook Live was because I kept hearing, if you're renting, you're wasting money, which is not technically true. Now, I don't discredit home ownership. I think there is a time and a place for it. And I also think that every single person has different goals. And I think that every single person has a different situation. So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna tell you my situation, and then I'm gonna break some numbers down, averages across the United States of America right now. And I'm gonna show you why within 5 years that you could save and you could earn more money by renting if you did versus buying. And then what you could do is take that money that you saved, and then you could flip that into an investment property, an investment vehicle for you, where you could be making almost $30,000 a year off of that. All right, so real quick, my story. So right now I'm renting an apartment in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. I also own real estate. I have 9 units, I have 2 properties, I have a 5 unit and a 4 unit. And again, yes, I am still renting an apartment. I never bought a house. I'm single and not married, meaning married, well, I have a girlfriend, but I'm not married. So that's what I mean by single. Sorry if you're watching. I never had the need to buy a big house. There are strategies where you could buy a house, you could live in it, you could fix it up, refinance. I get it. This is the demographic that I'm talking to. I'm talking to the person who is saying that renting is wasting money. I'm also talking to somebody who might be in the position thinking, should I buy a home because I think it's a good real estate investment, or I need to be earning equity, or should I keep renting? Let me break some numbers down, and maybe I could show you what I did, and I could show you a different perspective, and we'll see what you guys think about it. So looking at the average home prices, and I'm going off of my location, okay? So I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan, so I'm looking at Zillow, and right here Zillow is saying the average home price is $161,700. Now, looking at the homes that I would want to live in, the houses that are out there for $160,000, I don't think I'd probably buy one of those. If I would want a home that I would live in, based on what I've seen, it'd probably be $250,000 and up. So I would probably be spending more money. Now, but again, for averages, just for keeping things more simple, we're gonna go off of Zillow of $161,700, right? And then now looking at the average rent prices, I found this website, Abedo. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. But I looked at these rent rates, and in Michigan, $785 for a 1-bedroom per person. It's $785 on average. Now that's about accurate because I pay about $800, $900 with parking for my apartment. And let me give you guys a little context about that too. The reason I love my apartment is because it's literally a block away from my office. I get to walk to work. I love it. I will pay a little bit more for convenience. What we gotta figure out is, what's the interest rate? Because we gotta do the numbers and run a mortgage for you who's gonna buy a house. So the average interest rate right now is 4.4%. So what I did was went to mortgagecalculator.org and I ran the numbers. So $161,700 down payment, and we're gonna say the down payment's 5%. Now, yes, there are other things that you could do, like a FHA, that's government, but let's say that, you know, maybe you have some bad standing with student debt and you can't do that because it's a government program. Or let's say for some reason you don't qualify for a first homeowner's FHA. So the conventional route, 5% minimum. So we're gonna go with 5%. We're gonna go with a 4.4% interest rate. We're gonna do 30-year term. And we're gonna say property taxes around $2,400. It fluctuates based on your area. And we'll say homeowners insurance about $1,000 a year. So once we break down the calculation, your estimated payment is $1,116.58. Okay? Now, taking into consideration when you buy a home, there's a lot of things you're probably not looking at or for. You probably don't understand PMI. maybe your property tax, and also your homeowner's insurance. So you have to, if you put under a certain amount, don't quote me on this, I believe it's under 20%, you have to have PMI, right? Personal mortgage insurance. You also have to have property insurance as well. So you have two forms of insurance if you put a lower percent down, and you have to pay your taxes too. So we're looking at about $1,116 on that average home price of $161,700. Can we agree to that? All right, so what I did in a handy dandy email was I broke down all the numbers. Oh, and by the way, you might not know this either. If you own a home, you have to maintain it and improve it. And there's a lot of things that come up that you don't know. My rental properties, a lot of things came up where we had to maintain it and fix it. So that's some stuff they don't tell you. So now looking at the numbers, home ownership, and we're looking at this over 5 years, you bought that house for $161,700. All the terms we already agreed to get your mortgage and the upkeep as well. So you also have to put a down payment of right around $10,000 down. So it's about $8,500. You have closing costs, a bunch of other fees. So your first year, you have to put an extra $10,000 down cash to buy that house. So looking at over 5 years, right, the amount of cash that you're gonna spend for this home is gonna be $105,000. It's like 105,565, right? Who cares? We'll round it up. $105,000 that you're spending. So every single year after the first year, when you put the $10,000 down, you have to pay almost $20,000 down for the mortgage, the interest, the insurance, taxes, right? And the upkeep and maintenance. So almost $20,000 a year for that home. Now, if we go to the rent over, again, 5 years, it's pretty simple. It's $785. That's what we said the national average is. Okay, you have renter's insurance, whoop-de-doo. That's super cheap, 15, 20 bucks a month. So after 5 years, you're only paying $50,000. Okay, so it's about $10,000 a year. So if you're in a situation where people are pressuring you to buy a home because you're renting, don't listen to them. Go with your own strategy, because if you look at it, over 5 years, if you rent and save the money, though, you have to be diligent to save that money. Instead of spending it on a home, you're gonna have an increase of $50,000. What could you do with the extra $50,000? Well, I'm happy you asked the question, because what I wanna show you real quick and just explain to you guys, and I'm not gonna run down detailed numbers at all, is my second property that I got, I put $60,000 down. That was a 4-unit property. That property cash flows almost net. I'm talking about net, that's profit. We're not talking about gross, right? We're taking all the expenses out, and what's the bottom line? What is your net profit you make? Almost $30,000 a year. So if you could sacrifice, and if you could rent and save that money over 5 years, you could buy a 4-unit or maybe not a 4-unit, we got a decent deal on it, but if you could find something to produce cash, you could probably be making between $15,000 to $30,000 net every single year. And if you look back at the numbers and you think about it, the home that you bought essentially will be paid for from your investment. So it's almost as if you struggle, not even struggle, if you are diligent and you could have a little self-control for 5 years and save, you could almost get a free home. Nothing's free, of course, because you could save that money, and there's also opportunity costs with money. But essentially, if you could save and be diligent, you could have that mortgage paid for from your investment property. So I hope that helps you guys out. I hope that reshapes the way you think. Are you wasting money on rent? You're not. You're not wasting your money on rent if you have the right strategy in place. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a real estate advisor. I'm just telling you guys what I did. I don't care what you guys do. Whatever strategy that you have, you're gonna march to the drums of your own beat. I get it, but that's what I did. And again, everybody has a different situation. So I'm not saying buying a home is bad. Some people might have a family and kids and they just might want that. But don't let people talk you down for renting or saying it's a waste. especially if you have a strategy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, real quick too, by the way, we have a new series, if you guys have watched to the end of this, and if you're watching this right now, or if you're watching this in the future, years ahead, go back and check out the series that we did. It's the Division Project. What the Division Project is essentially, we just purchased a 16,000 square foot piece of real estate and it's empty. So you're gonna see the journey from buying it to negotiating to working with contractors to finding the tenants and leasing it out until the finished product. So it's gonna be a massive success or a huge flop. I guess we'll see, and you'll have to watch to find out.